Well, what do you know? It's 11:01 on the clock on the wall here at Voices, Win FM 98.9, as we get set to get into another presentation of Voices. We want to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all our fans and viewers around the world in whatever time zone you find yourself. Welcome to My Friday in the double slice of paradise as we set and get locked for another launch of Voices. We take pause as we go downtown to give firstly credit to our sponsors, and we will be right back.
What has you so happy?
My home internet just got upgraded and I didn't even have to pay for it.
What? Which network you have?
Flow. Now I can get the fastest fiber internet in St. Kitts and Nevis for the lowest price.
Fastest internet for the lowest price? What's the catch?
No catch, my friend. 300 megabits per second for just $135 a month. With Flow, you truly get the best internet experience around.
Switch to Flow for the fastest fiber internet at the lowest price. Visit a Flow store today. Conditions apply.
If you need protection, you need one who you can trust. To secure your investment, you need one who'll do you just. TDC Insurance, you're the one that you can trust. TDC Insurance, you're always safe with us.
TDC Insurance is your go-to insurance company for all your insurance needs. We take pride in offering you the best solutions and ensuring our customers are fully satisfied. TDC Insurance, we take good care of you, guaranteeing you peace of mind.
You're always safe with us.
Buster, hold it up, need the thirst quencher in my cup. If you have one, hold it up and say, Buster put the colors in my life. Refreshing and nice, and I drink that what we like. Buster, you're full of vibes, living for the color. And I'm black and white, we do what we like. We live to enjoy life. Buster, pour it up, different flavor. Load it up. If you have one, hold it up and say, Buster put the colors in my life.
We watch the deforestation of Haiti and the Amazon, disrupting the ecosystem, needed meditation. We see ice caps melting, wildfires raging, extreme drought, extreme cold, extreme heat wave, industrial waste dumped in the ocean, threatening marine life with extinction. But the sustainability of our biodiversity is crucial if we're to survive as a tourism economy, competing with others of the same dependency like you and me. The climate aberration must be approved to reparation. We need all hands on deck for climate mitigation. Must be the primary mission to reverse the greenhouse gas effect. Our very survival is at stake. With our backs pushed against a wall, though our carbon footprint is very small, clearly Peter is paying for Paul until there's one set of rules for one and all. We got this to Peter, paid for Paul. That's Beulah. As we get into the spirit of Carnival, Sugar Mass 24 is in the air. We have some new releases. That one was from last year. But thank you for playing it. I want to say good morning to Mr. Eustace Hendrickson, Dr. Leader up there in the U.S., Amber Lewis over there in Anguilla. These are folks who are logged on normally and keep us abreast of what's happening up there. Jennifer Richards in Hotlanta should be cool right about now. Rosemary Donald up there in New York, Brenda O'Neill traveling the globe, Mr. Val Monish and family, and of course Sister Henry Journey, we've not heard from him for some time, Carl Brown, Gregory Culture, Chukai the Calypsonian. I want to take this time out to say happy birthday to Cleopatra Lewis over there in Anguilla, celebrating her 8th birthday. Cleo, Grandpa didn't forget. He loves you, and we will reconnect later on, okay? So that's some salutations to the folks who normally keep us relevant as we settle down for another presentation of Voices. It's Friday, the 25th day of October. 6 days hence, we usher in November, and the Carnival Calypso tents are in the planning stage. I think their intention to launch the tents during the first week of November. I've been by the band houses. I know I've seen a few Calypsonians going through their paces. It's going to be a great event when we launch. I want to thank the Carnival Committee for the initiative shown in trying to get Calypsonians to get early releases by offering to pay for the studio recordings as long as you release your songs in October, so the listening public at home and abroad can get a gist of what's happening locally on the ground. I had a chat with Carl Brown a few weeks ago, and he's trying to hear what we have now in terms of political content in Calypso, because a lot of guys don't want to address the issues of the day. We keep hearing Big Lies say, I want to see and hear Big Lies in the tent doing his thing. So we're looking forward to that. So guys, stay tuned. We will have some of the new releases. I think James will have one or two he'll be playing throughout the day, just to give you an idea as to what's happening. But in terms of the tent, I'm addressing this question to the many folks who would be asking me, when are the tents, where will they be? I know there's some new venues being discussed. As a matter of fact, yesterday, I was with a group of urban developers, and we had occasion to stop at the Eastern Bus Terminal. Yep, just up the road there. And a gentleman said to me, well, Socrates, have you thought of bringing the tents here? We could pull a stage here for you and blah, blah, blah. That would be a major venue, you know. Well, until I was there, he showed me that it's possible. I'll get some vendors in, and we'll have to look at the logistics as to how we'll flush it out, but it'll be a great venue. It's got endless parking. Because in some of the areas we normally go, it's been difficult to find tents, etc. And that is why last year the majority was the tents were hosted down at Spratnet. There you go. There was another venue offered for a tent that's up at the top of Winfield Road, above the Railway Band Grill. It's a splendid location for Calypso tents. So I know discussions are afoot about that also. So the tent-loving public, the Calypso tent-loving public, will have various options to go out and be entertained. But I have one song in my tent with the guy saying that she don't want no steak. She don't want no this. All she wants is baconet and white rice. That will be a song in the tent. All she wants is baconet and white rice, because that's what she's accustomed to. So no Kentucky, no McDonald's, no this, no that. What you want? Baconet. It's sweet. All right. We'll see how that works out. So, don't have any particular topic today. I don't know what Gregory will tell me about baconet and white rice. If Gregory, I need for you to tell me what the Bible says about baconet and white rice, okay? So, don't be shy. Think of your uncle and give me your take on baconet and white rice. So, the band's in the band house. I went by Winggrove some nights ago. Guys are there. They're going to have quite the entourage. They're the most popular tent. I think the Legends have, as is said, more serious content, but people want to hear the melee and the things that's happening, you know. So we'll see how that fleshes out. All right. We have two things I would like to address in terms of tourism. last week there were a number of calls from members of the taxi fraternity questioning the initiative taken by the what we told was the tourism department of doing something up at Timothy Hill. I use that phrase because one of the presidents said he has asked the minister as to what was happening up there, Minister Henderson. And she said, words to the effect, to paraphrase, we'll be doing something. So there was a lot of guesswork as to what was something. To my mind, based on what I saw, the way the foundation was laid out and the location of where it was at the hill, I thought they were erecting a viewing platform. About 2 days after, there was a picture circulated of what is in fact a viewing platform. One of the criticism of the construction, that it wasn't wheelchair friendly. There were no access ramp for those who have mobility problems. The picture I saw, there was a reaction from one of the persons who were very heavily critical of what they were doing. But the picture that was posted with, I would say about maybe 8 to 10 persons, actually, I would say posing on the platform, the reaction from that person was, wow. Sometimes, even though you're not consulted, because that was a big issue, one of the issues being talked about, well, they didn't consult with us. They didn't consult with the presidents because I know for a fact there were no consultation. But it's not everything I have to be privy to and that you have to seek my permission. Okay? But that was the take of many. And I'm waiting for Africa to call in because he took the position that people were afraid to speak. Now, my approach, which I have adopted over the many years, I have 2 ears, 2 eyes, 1 mouth. In using that philosophy, it means you see twice as much. You're supposed to listen twice as much as you talk. There are times where I have jumped off at the deep end without being properly informed. And when you're in a leadership position, you have to know what you're doing before you open your mouth and then embarrass yourself. So the insinuation was that the certain people, a certain person were afraid to talk. And he had an agenda because he's going to talk. You're free to talk. You may be better informed than I. So until I have that information where I can speak from authority, this is what they're doing, and I don't like it, etc., I am supposed to, I don't have to wait, but look before you leap, so to speak. Easterly, there's a platform built by some private entity that covers the Frigga Bay area. So when we drive up, the guests have the option to overlook Frigga Bay first, looking towards the Marriott and Half Moon Bay area, or looking over the southeastern end, you're covering the Atlantic side and the Caribbean Sea. Any viewing point is a wowing experience. People get there and like, wow. So let's take a tour. You live in maybe the Frigga Bay area, Port Zante, you're heading westerly around the islands. And as I explained to my guests, that's the more historic side of the island. We'll then see the more recently developed side of St. Kitts after. So you cover that. You go down to Old Road, you explain the history. You go down to Black Rocks, you know, and you come around to the villages. So you see how we live. But when you get in, after you come off the bypass, and you hit the central bank, you're in a totally different demographic. As a matter of fact, were I to ask you the name of what we call the Frigga Bay Road, what's the name of the road? John F. Kennedy Highway. A lot of folks don't know that, how it came about. But we normally call it the Frigga Bay Road, but in the 60s, it was actually with the formation of the Peace Corps. On the John F. Kennedy, that road, it was funding that built that road, that access road to Frigga Bay. So its official name is the John F. Kennedy Highway. So we hit the JFK Highway, and you look at the homes, the nature of the homes, etc. And we speak about where you can buy land for up to, say, under $5 US per square foot. In Frigate Bay, Earlmore's area, you're looking about $25 to $30 US per square foot. So it's a different demographic, a different tax zone. It is a different tax zone. It is. Well, I won't say we're looking at that as an option because many of the roads throughout St. Kitts are not named. They're not named at all. We just say it's a Frigate Bay Road, right? And if you're saying to, say, Europeans, this is the John F. Kennedy Highway, how does it appeal to them? But you should be able to explain the origin, huh? But what's the relation? The Americans would have more of an interest as to knowing why, the connection. Yeah, but you must be prepared to explain the history and the connections. But that's going into Frigate Bay. You're looking at, as a matter of fact, some years ago, having done the tour around St. Kitts, we get to Frigate Bay. And one of my guests was an elderly white man. He says, "Oh, I see lots of Americans live here." Because of the mega homes and the size of homes, in his mindset, only rich white people can afford those houses. So having toured around St. Kitts, and let me tell you, if you want to go off the main up to St. Peter's up there, wow, you're like in a different world. No, I had the choice to set him straight or to let him die in his ignorance. Because when you come with that mindset, that condescending mindset, that the homes you see in Frigate Bay or any palatial homes is only because Americans live here. So sometimes you can get into a little discussion with them, right? And there was a time you used to boast about 90% of the homes over there owned locally. It has changed. It has changed. Correct. So for me to go and inform me, well, these are all locally, I've had the response, well, are they into drugs? I've had the question, are these guys into drugs? You speak to the ignorance of a people who've never traveled, but they tell you where they come from is the best place in the world. So you have to be diplomatic at times. But then we go down to Frigate Bay. That area is beautiful. And you go up to Timothy Hill. And that lookout point is a selling point. Because that's when you get a lot of questions from the tourists. How can we buy land here? And I'm thinking, yeah. You go and you want to come and see where I live and buy where I live. But of course, we are in tourism. But many of them show interest in buying land here. I have seen a couple of tourists actually cry. They're so impacted with the beauty of the place. Like some years ago, I was driving through Calypso Bay. I got to the top of that hill overlooking Boardwalk and downtown Bastia, and a guy just cried. You know, these are things we see every day we take for granted, but there are people who are impacted by the natural beauty from that, I would say, panoramic view. So we have appeal. We have lots of appeal. So whatever was the thinking from the tourism department, urban development, whomever, they chose to build a platform. I think it will serve its purpose. It's going to affect the parking in terms of the spacing, etc. And there'll be challenges. Should there be in consultation? I don't know. I understand they plan to put a billboard with some artwork showing other parts of St. Kitts. And somebody said, no, leave it as natural as it is. We don't want to go and see this and that, but I don't know. I don't know. I would like to hear from Africa his take on what has happened so far, etc., etc. So there's one aspect of it. And is it 20 minutes past already?
No, but you have some morning greetings here from Jennifer Richards. Oh, and this is a good time to let the people listening who want to send comments, if perhaps you can't call. Okay. So you have morning greetings coming from Alex Govaya.
Alex Govaya.
Jennifer Richards.
Jennifer Richards.
Brenda O'Neill.
Brenda
telling-
O'Neill. Actually,
telling-
Jam said reading me the comments of the
Oh,
comments. of what?
Brenda. Oh, that's
You know
Brenda.
Brenda, she was
yeah,
here,
Yeah,
and she
yeah,
says
right.
it,
Oh,
yeah.
hi, Brenda.
Right.
Yeah, okay. She's
Well, we feel
messaging
free to
from-
interact. Jennifer was here some weeks ago also.
We have a call. First call.
Okay, let's go to the phone lines. Go to caller. You're live on Voices.
Good day. How are you doing today?
I'm okay. Glad to have you on radio.
Okay, good. Peace to you. Peace to St. Kitts and Nevis. And peace to St. Kitts. I just have two things. Just to mention something, and if you have any questions to ask about the topic you have, that would be good. I'm talking in relation to the incident that happened last night in Sandy Point, the unfortunate situation. So I just want to say condolences
To the family.
to the family, but also to the perpetrators. Turn yourself. Because the topic I want to talk about is that I think was last week we had the week of peace. But to be safe, one has to think about peace.
Yes.
Because to be peaceful, one has to understand what it is to be peaceful. So therefore the question is what is peace? That's a question we should have to answer. What is peace? To understand peace, one has to understand love. So the question might ask, what is love? Do we have peace? Do we understand what peace is in St. Kitts? Do we understand what love is? Do we want to share love? Do we love? Those are some questions we have to ask. But I must then say, the answer to peace and love is in a book. A lot of persons don't really want to hear about this day. And the book I'm talking about, the Bible.
Okay.
The Bible has the answer for what is love, what is peace. You just have to search it. Anyone could come and talk about it. The Bible has many lessons for us to learn from to correct the many problems that we face today. Some person may want to believe, the Bible is outdated, but it has the answer. There is no other book, no one ever disputes could say what the Bible is. There are many persons who are looking for, you ever heard about the fountain of youth?
Yes.
Up to now, I don't know. You tell me if there's ever anyone find it there. But the Bible mentions about that. It means people will do all kinds of things, plastic surgery, whatever, but the natural food must take its course.
That is correct.
Anything that's alive must die. And therefore, only God could extend youthfulness to persons. The scripture is about that. Caleb and Joshua. I'm not going to go too much into it. I'm going to leave it there. So I must say as well that these wrongs that are happening in our society, we have to remember, they come from different time frames, different, whatever you want to put it. But we have to realize something has gone wrong. Even though the Bible says certain things, it says certain things are going to come to pass, but it says the believers, they are the salt of the earth. If you remove salt from something, what it have? You have no taste, right? If you remove the flavor from the salt, it's good for nothing. That's what the Bible says as well.
Okay. Before you leave, though, I'd like to pose a question to you.
Yes, sir.
Can you pinpoint a time in recorded history when this form of human behavior was not happening?
It was not happening?
Happening. Not even in St. Kitts, but human experience throughout. A time in history when this form of human behavior, killing each other, the rancor, the infighting, when that didn't occur or was not occurring.
It happened before the serpent speak to Eve in the Garden of Eden.
In the Garden of Eden, okay.
Right. From since then, sin entered the world, the earth.
So then this is normal behavior then?
But it is a sin behavior. It was a consequence of disobedience.
Okay.
So that's what we put. Because even in today's world, and like how you and I and a lot of persons will go and talk to persons to be peaceful, to be loving, to be kind, to prevent all these things. But if they do not listen to you, that's what will happen.
Is how we apply it to our lives.
That is why we still have to refer back to it, because if there was obedience, the instruction was, do not eat of this food. Disobedience happened. And come right down, if you realize from that time down, disobedience just happened. But there are persons and a group of persons sometimes that follow things and good things happen. And those are the examples we should follow. Not because, give me a time when nothing like that happened. It may not be global, but in a particular area, it may not be. Because I could recall in my area, large area, for a period of time, a lot of things that used to happen never used to happen. And we could recall also show things because they had a period of time when what is happening now with these type of murders.
That is correct. That is
I think you
correct.
remember that.
That is
you
correct.
see, there are times when these things don't happen. And if you reflect in those times what used to happen, some persons will complain how many Sunday schools they have to go in one Sunday.
That is
These are
correct.
the answers. The answers is in the same book I'm talking about. So you keep focused on God. Your attention to the wrong will fall away. But I must say, coupled with all of that, you will have to come back even from the garden. I must say, life is a journey. And the journey is as long as time. Therefore, life is time, but time is not necessarily life. All of us have a time on this earth, but it depends on how we use our time on earth, either for good or for bad, for helping others or not, for building up good things or for breaking down. You catch where I'm coming from?
That is very well said.
If you recognize these things, you realize it is always wise to do good and be kind and loving to others. And so it brings me to another thing. Be good and be kind to others as you would like them to be unto you. Same way, if you do not want, and this is in the Bible. So you see how handy the Bible comes in? Do unto others as you would like others do.
Life lessons to be applied to
If you do not
ourselves.
want anyone to hit you or steal from you, do not do that to people. If you do not want anyone to hurt you, do not do that to people. If we follow the teaching of the Bible and accept it, I'm not telling you if you don't want to believe it, but just go for it for life learning lessons. Because those of us who are old enough will realize we have moved so far from the teaching of the Bible where, yes, it might have been old that my parents and my grandparents sent me to so many Sunday school, but you know what? You are alive today. And a lot of persons who are younger than you and I would have gone because what happened? The same book that our parents and grandparents tell us to go and hear from the pastor what he's saying from that book. You realize we play an important part in our life journey.
That is
and
correct.
our time being here today. And that is why I'm saying, let us also reflect on that book as well. A lot of persons may not like it. Because you know what? Even the same Bible says there's a lot of persons who not going to believe in it. And even persons who used to be, they're going to come out away from it. I'm not here to preach to them. I'm just here to say how to think about how to change our attitude. Because life is time. And we are on a journey through life. And our time is not infinite here on earth. But according to the scripture, there's life after death. And where you be after death is two different things. It's not everybody going to be the same place.
Okay.
And that should be a frightening thing. The other thing I must say is that
We need to go for session break, so make the point for me quickly, please.
okay, everyone wants to be correct and don't want to listen to anyone else correct. Everybody wants to be, let's say, my right, but not realizing other persons have a right, and it could be infringing on someone else's right in the process of doing that. So I just want us to remember what is true, what is correct, and what is right. If we could answer those questions, we will realize there's only one truth, and there's only one thing that is right, because you and I could see something, and somebody may want to make us believe what we see is not it. You and I could be looking in the same direction, and what you're looking at, I may not be looking at. But you know what? The truth always remains the truth. Not my truth, not your truth, but
Thank you for your contribution, and thank you for sharing your perspective. All right, welcome to call back, but we do have to break at this point in time for a commercial break. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Me a man when me come and see me a watch girl bust out the jeans. I watch this, watch the girl them a wind up. Me a walk them man till me time's up.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is Win FM.
TDC Financial Services. We're here for you to help you make your dreams come true. Whether your needs are big or small, we'll support you with them all. TDC Financial Services. We are strong. TDC Financial Services. This is where you belong.
TDC Financial Services, where money is made easy.
Rams the good food people, always there to serve you. Rams the good food people, locations right near you. Rams the good food people, in-store specials for you. Rams the good food people, Rams.
What has you so happy?
My home internet just got upgraded and I didn't even have to pay for it.
What? Which network you have?
Flow. Now I can get the fastest fiber internet in St. Kitts and Nevis for the lowest price.
Fastest internet for the lowest price? What's the catch?
No catch, my friend. 300 megabits per second for just $135 a month. With Flow, you truly get the best internet experience around.
Switch to Flow for the fastest fiber internet at the lowest price. Visit a Flow store today. Conditions apply.
Carnival, yeah, and me might be high rum, flexing a year around, having a load of fun. It's carnival, yeah, got me up in the mix, walking up in the van, hoping you understand. It's carnival, give me the rhythm, I make you jump and go, make you give him sugar massive to bring it. I was a young last, so me go kill it. So friend, just come wipe on this one. I got that like class reunion. We don't need no altercation. Carnival, yeah. And me might be high rum. Fetting all year round. Having a load of fun. It's carnival, yeah. Got me up in the mix. Walking up in the van. Hoping you understand. It's carnival. Watch the girls, them a wind up, grind up. And the man, them a dance up, smile up. Bring me one, make we drink up, link up. This another day, so we just
Shades of soccer entries for the carnival 2016. Okay, no problem. At least we have some entries from those entries with the soccer. So not only about calypso, but soccer. Okay, let me continue a bit. Okay, there are two things. The last caller did ask a question about the incident that took place in Sandy Point last night, which brings us to the 29th murder of 2024. I had a call roughly around 7-ish. Somebody called me, asked me, about a shooting in Sandy Point. I said, well, I'm in my matchbox. I haven't heard anything. I said, but let me call Anguilla to find out. He's called me from Bastia, Old Road, asked me about shooting in Sandy Point. I am home. I said, let me call Anguilla to find out. Within 2 minutes, I had the information sent to me from Anguilla with a picture of the person. So we know that bad news travels fast, but within 2 minutes of that call to me, asked me, Socrates, I was going to Sandy Point to hear the shooting and say, well, fellow, I'm home in my matchbox. I can't give you any information. Let me call Anguilla. This is the age that we're living in. Instantaneously, news travels around the world, and people get it, and they disseminate it to other parts. So you find we have to know. We are the last to know. Sadly, again, as the chap spoke, condolences to the families, the perpetrators, etc. I heard there was an altercation, blah, 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 which I cannot substantiate, so I won't go into any details pertaining to that. But back to the Timothy Hill issue. I'm going to read some reaction from some taxi drivers. One writes, apart from being behind the rocks, it was to be a boardwalk-like design, something that would be able to accommodate the hundreds of visitors to the hill when there have 3 or more ships down the port. And we're going to create a waiting line to get to a photo op at the Matchbox platform. The entire stretch behind the rocks should have been transformed into a boardwalk-like platform, or, of course, with fortified guardrails. And this person responds, I particularly agree. It should have been longer and a little elevated, not too high, just one step up and not beyond the rocks with guardrails, because just like how they climb the rocks, they will climb the guardrails as well. Besides the matchbox size, the designers did not make any consideration or did not take into consideration a wheelchair ramp for the person who are challenged by such, disabilities. Where there is no vision, the people will suffer. Take comfort to operators. Timothy is going to get the ideal enhancement that it is warranted. Okay. They continue. Timothy Hill is the envy of the entire visitor experience. Let's give it nothing less than what it requires. Our objective is to make St. Kitts better than how we met it. Really? Okay. The guy said Dr. Simmons is the only leader in the region who took over country, and when he left, he made it bigger. Adam Posante. Haha. The Hill is the icing on the cake of St. Kitts. Ultimate experience, let's give its due recognition. Just a few responses and reactions from taxi drivers about what is taking place up on Timothy Hill. Okay? Any callers at the moment? Okay, let me go into something different, also tourism related. On, I think it's the 4th of next month, the Tourism Authority has facilitated a meeting with, I would say, all tourism stakeholders, mainly those in the taxi fraternity, to meet with executives of the Carnival Cruise Lines, have interviews, pitch their tour directly to the cruise line. There's a meeting, there's been invitation for the taxi presidents to attend, and one has to look at what that means, because the other option is to travel to the sea trade and the cruise trades out there. There's a cost. Accommodation-wise, you have to pay for registration and all that. We'll get back to that after we take this call. Go to call 11 Voices.
Socrates?
Yes, sir.
Good day.
Welcome to the program.
Good day. Yes, greetings once more in Jesus' name. He who saved his elect, his chosen sinners from their sins and from hell, and the second person of the eternal Trinity. Amen and amen.
Amen to that.
Now, first, I would like to say that the caller before had asked, what is love? And he said it is found in the Bible. Well, actually, I'm to more explicitly say it. Romans chapter 13 says, love is the fulfillment of the commands of God. That is love, the fulfillment of the commands of God, the obeying of the commands of God.
Isn't it the same or more of a definition?
Hello?
Isn't it the same?
Well, that is going into it more explicitly. That is just more explicitly defining what love is,
okay,
according to the Bible. More clearly explaining what is love, according to the Bible.
I understand.
No, what I also want to say is that I'm going to say it, and I'm going to always be saying it once God gives me the opportunity, strength, and the withal to say it. Our problems, all of them, are the result of us disobeying the word of God. And when I say us, people only think that the Bible speaks to us only as individuals. No. The Bible also speaks to governments as to how to obey the Bible, how government should obey the Bible, how families, churches, businesses, and so on, how we all, in whatever capacity, how we are supposed to obey the Bible, and not just as individuals only. You see, the vast majority of people have a very uninformed knowledge as it means to be obedient to the word of God. I think it's just about individuals only, not knowing it is about governments and so on as well. Now, likewise, the solution to all of our problems is for us all, including government, churches, and so on, to be obedient to the Bible. And with all due respect, as I've said, and a lot of people are going to get angry with me, I will get angry with me, but governments disarming the people, making drugs and so on illegal and those sort of stuff goes against the Bible. And because all of these government policies, these government anti-scripture policies, because they all go against the Bible, and many others that I have not named, we will only, in the end, reap destruction, ruin, and
so are you saying any government entity that regulates against drug trafficking or the drug trade that goes against the Bible?
Right.
Okay.
Because the government, nowhere in the Bible can you find where the Bible tells government to do such. And we see it playing out in the world because we see wherever government clamp down on guns, drugs, and so on, they make the situation worse and worse and worse. I do not know any place in this world and throughout history where government clamp down on these things and the situation get better. In the end, it always get worse. As well as other disobedience to the Bible that government does. You know, but it goes against what we think. It goes against our understanding. But the Bible says we are not to lean on our understanding. Just do what the Bible said do and don't do what the Bible said don't do. Be that the Bible may say it implicitly or explicitly, directly or indirectly, always be obedient to the Bible.
Quick question. From time to time we hear about civilizations, a people is being quote-unquote discovered, living in a remote area or remote areas of the globe, disconnected from the current technology, this concept of government, etc., etc. They don't know about Christ, the Bible, and those instructions. But they live in a society where they're regulated by laws. There's a governing body, and they regulate by a number of laws that they would have put in place to govern themselves. What happened to those people who never heard about Christ?
When you say what happened to them, what do you mean in the sense of what?
In terms of their soul salvation.
Okay, in terms of soul salvation,
Mm-hmm.
if they die in that situation, they end up in hell. No, we make a mistake. Hold on. We don't make a mistake that they don't know about God.
I'm not talking about I am not talking about not making a mistake.
No,
Within
many
the
people.
culture where they live, divorced from this modern world and the religions that are telling us, if you're not of this particular religious belief, you will go to hell, etc., etc.
Yes.
These people are not exposed, have never been exposed to that, and they live in a society of their own laws, etc. You're saying that when they
They will go
died,
to hell.
having never heard about Christianity and the salvation, they go to hell. What is their sin?
Right. Once they
What
die
is their
in
sin?
that condition. Hello?
What is their sin?
What is their sin?
They were born in sin, right?
Number one. The Bible says in Romans chapter 1, chapter 2, and chapter 3, for example, it tells us that every one of us born with the knowledge of God. And not only that, it also tells us we all see the evidence of God's creation in all that we look at around us, be it in the heavens, in the earth. We all see the evidence of God's
You're describing
glory and being.
You're describing the practices of the quote-unquote Native Americans, how they related to
And the
culture,
Bible said-
to nature,
Yeah.
etc.,
Yeah, and the Bible-
without any
and the
mention of Christ and God, as we're told, the God of Abraham, etc., etc. But they worship nature, they worship in spirit.
Yes.
They never
And the
worship
Bible
Christ.
say- yeah, but hold on. But the Bible says they all, as all human beings, they all have the knowledge of the Creator. God,
Yes.
in them.
Yes, they acknowledge
hold
a
on,
superior
the Bible-
being, Mother Earth, with a
Yeah,
worship.
but hold on. The Bible also tells us more. The Bible says they all men, no matter where they are, they're born with the knowledge of the Creator God, and they see it all around in the environment, including in the heavens. But the Bible says that they reject this knowledge. They all reject it, and they turn to worship created things instead. All men. we reject the knowledge and return to worship created things instead. That's what the Bible says about all men. And the Bible says, if you seek God, he will reveal himself unto you. So what these people do, instead of seeking the creator God that they know and that they're born with the knowledge of, they turn to created things to worship them. So they are not innocent before God. They are not innocent before God. But it's just that.
So they're going to hell.
It's just that once they die in that situation, because the Bible says if they turn to that knowledge that they have,
so they're going to hell.
The Creator God, he will reveal himself to them. He will send somebody to preach them the gospel message and save them. But what they do, they reject that knowledge of the Creator God that they're born with and that they see in all of their environment, and they turn to created things to worship them. They're not innocent. People like to think that they're innocent, but they're not innocent. They reject the knowledge of the Creator God that they have in them and that they see in the environment.
Okay, Gregory.
They're not innocent. But the Bible lets you know, though, that those who know of the will of God and reject it will suffer greater punishment in hell than those who did not know the will of God. So those people will not suffer as much punishment in hell as those of us who heard the gospel, who know the gospel, and die rejecting it.
He did call to expound more on where love and peace is found, or to better define what the gentleman before was speaking about. So, okay, we went on to different things, but I did ask a question about the societies or people who are yet, what do you call them? Living in the uncivilized and all kind of nonsense. They don't know God. They don't know this. They don't know that. So once
they know God, but they reject the knowledge of God.
These labels you give to people. Anyway.
Hello.
Yeah,
okay.
We give people labels and we condemn and judge them, but that's a whole different story. I want to do it a topic before we go to the next news break. So thank you for the contribution and appreciate you calling, and you may be free to call back. Okay. Thank you. So I was talking about the facilitating of meetings between the executive of the Carnival Cruise Lines and those stakeholders in tourism, specifically those in the transportation industry, the outreach to the presidents of the taxi associations. I would say it's a very good thing. So we have a chance now to pitch our tours, our various services to the industry directly to these representatives today. Well, that's on the 4th of Monday. The 4th of next month, sorry. So I would like to get some feedback on that from folks in the general public, but those in the taxi tour industry about that particular aspect of it, because at least 6 weeks ago, if not 2 months ago, there was a meeting where folks in the industry was called and informed about this upcoming event and told to get the act together, prepare the tours in a manner where the tourism department will actually vet it for them before they have that presentation or opportunity to present their tours directly to the cruise lines. And I want to commend the Tourism Authority, the minister, all the folks who are part of that venture in facilitating meetings directly between local transportation providers and the Carnival Cruise Lines, even against the backdrop of the discussion that Carnival would not be coming back to St. Kitts because of the incident that would have taken place during the COVID lockdown, where they felt they were not properly accommodated, and so they left the space and went to St. Martin. So, if you're now hosting meetings with the Carnival Cruise Line executive and local taxi drivers, that's a strong indicator that Carnival, in the foreseeable future, will be making calls here in the Federation. So, the lines are open, 6620989. We have a few minutes before we pause for the Win FM's midday newscast, but if you got a chance, give me a call. Let's hear your feedback on that. Okay? And that would be a positive thing. for our destination.
You think Carnival might try to extract some sort of concession?
Can I hear you?
Yeah, you can hear me, right? Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Everyone can hear me. I was
The question
saying,
was?
you think Carnival may try to extract some concessions which may be either reasonable or unreasonable from
All the
us
cruise
because of-
lines negotiate concessions. Back in the day, when they ported up at what was the Deepwater Harbor, one of the terms was water. They tanked up on water here. We have, well, I know we had, in terms of quality, the best water in the region. Well, I'm not going to say better than Dominica, etc., but in the sub-region, looking at Antigua, St. Martin, St. Thomas. So they came here, and one of the terms, or one of the conditions were they would get their water free. Yes, they got the water free. Yeah, it's a give and take. It's a give and take. So they came here, and if there was a water shortage or not, we facilitate them. They getting the tanks filled with water. So in terms of concessions, I don't know. I know they negotiate across the region in terms of the head tax. I'm not sure if it's the same at the moment, but it used to be $5 per head for every passenger that on the ship that dock here. So if it ship about 3,000 passengers, there would be a head tax of that, whether they came ashore or not. Because you had to pay your pilots, you had to pay for maintenance of the port, etc., security. So that would have come from that. So their spend on the ground would be a plus. There's been an argument where government don't care because they get a head tax all the same. No, it helps. But when they come ashore and you use your skill to interact with them, engage them and go on certain excursions, you can go by the marketplace and buy from the farmer. And it trickles down to, you want to buy books for your child, these outlets, etc. So in terms of concessions, I don't know what they give. I know at one point there was a cruise line that was more or less demanding that they occupy the space at the arrival hall. They didn't want any local persons there because they want to be able to sell their tours here on the ground, not only on the ship, but as you come ashore, you sell your tours on the ground. And Mr. Grant and others had to push back against that.
Sell the tours to who? Locals?
They're okay.
I see.
On the
I
ship,
get it. Yeah, okay.
they would have a captured audience to sell their tours to, right? We go to Antigua tomorrow. These are your two options, blah, blah, blah. But for those who are just walking off the ship, they will sit by a booth, say in the arrival hall, and so try to capture that market of people just walking off.
Because when I heard tours, I was thinking cruises. But I get it now.
They're tours.
Yeah.
And so we've had run-ins with them, I personally, and others, where it came to a point we had to go through the tourism reps on the ground rather than engage them directly. We say, you can't be selling tours here. That's for the local tour dispatchers to sell to our membership. So we've had challenges. So in terms of the concessions they may ask or demand, I recall some years ago in a meeting with, it was the Team Unity government, and when some of the conditions were being mentioned by certain cruise lines, this was just before we reopened the country. I recall the Honorable Wendy Phipps saying, hey, they just can't come here and demand this and demand this and demand that and demand that. Not because we're small and we're less dependent, they must know how far they can go, and we have to look at compromising, not demanding that you come in and we're dependent on you, etc. So you have to finesse certain things. And of course, it's a very competitive market. If one cruise line know, well, you're selling a tour for this, and they want the same thing, or even better advantage. So I'm happy, and I think all the folks, the stakeholders, would be encouraged to know that we are making plans. So it's time out for a news. We're 4 minutes away from the news break. Do we have a call? Okay, well, my thing is wrong. We do have to pause at this point in time based on what James is saying. for the presentation of the Win FM's midday. Oh, break. That's what's trying to get you. We're doing sign language here. Okay, we got 6 minutes to. Let's break for our presentation for our sponsors.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9 Win FM.
What has you so happy?
My home internet just got upgraded and I didn't even have to pay for it.
What? Which network you have?
Flow. Now I can get the fastest fiber internet in St. Kitts and Nevis for the lowest price.
Fastest internet for the lowest price? What's the catch?
No catch, my friend. 300 megabits per second for just $135 a month. With Flow, you truly get the best internet experience around.
Switch to Flow for the fastest fiber internet at the lowest price. Visit a Flow store today. Conditions apply.
Chip, chip, chip. We wanna get chip, chip, chip.
Give your little smartie the perfect smart start for their future with CHIP, the child investment plan from TDC Financial Services. Invest in your child's next step, and we know what's next is always changing.
Chip, chip, chip. We wanna get chip, chip, chip.
CHIP is a long-term plan with no minimum deposit, no monthly commitment, and you're guaranteed a special high interest rate per annum.
I want chip. I want chip too.
Visit TDC Financial Services today and get CHIP, the child investment plan, providing the best head start for every child.
Chip, chip, chip. We wanna get chip, chip, chip.
Buster, pour it up, need the thirst quencher in my cup. If you have one, hold it up and say, Bust the brother colors in my life. Refreshing and nice, and I drink that what we like. Bust and you're full of vibes, living for the color. And I'm black and white, we do what we like. We live to enjoy life. Buster, pour it up, different flavor. Load it up, load it up. If you have one, hold it up and say, Bust the brother colors in my life.
Symposium after crime symposium on the escalation of crime in our nation. Conversation on the radio stations addressing the question to where the guns coming from. The former police commissioner said the guns are coming through a legal port. Others say it's the open borders to which the gun runners resort. Others said the dismantlement of the peace program is what brought the gunplay to our land. But amid this madness, I stress, and they stress more. With all the advisors providing no answers, others continue to mourn. What is very strange.
We seems to have changed not for the better, but for the worse. But if we are to recover from this reoccurring drama, we have got to change our course. Words of wisdom for the government and the leaders to listen to, because we elect every 5-year circle thereabouts leaders that would have vied for the confidence of the electorate to do better than the previous administration. According to Big Lice, one of the advisors, things are not going well. And me, myself, I've been approached by lots of people because I think this political blah, 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 blah. Socrates, so and so, and so, I say, well, that's a question. I would love to see Big Lice in the arena, and he would be a major draw in the tents from the public and the shows. Okay, he's got this platform, and people tune in. So imagine if he's actually in the tents, singing things are not going well. And I see all the various publications throughout the weeks about what's happening, what's not happening, and one probably in the younger years would have liked to jump on this and make a calypso and that, But I look around the region. I'm not saying it's the same, but it's the same old story you hear going around. Internationally, when you look at what's happening in the U.S., with all the various accusations and evidence of certain person's character, we're saying, so what? Like back in the mid-'80s when Carl Hudson Phillips campaigned for the presidency and Sparrow was with him, people were saying, we know, we like it so. Remember the song? Take a Stevie Mango. Your pipe ain't got no water. You pay too much for butter. They tell him, because this symbol was a steel beam. Take your steel beam Mango. And he sang, Sparrow, it's plenty sexual favor to be a 10 days worker. And they said, we know, but we like it so. So, yeah, man. But it speaks to the psychosis of a people. Once you're for a particular party, right, and the opposition comes on board and they're pointing out all the disparities, all the problems that you're facing and this and that, but you align with the party. They can do no wrong for you. So Carl Hudson Phillips, he was the AG in Trinidad for many years. He thought he was popular and he could run on the platform of change. And he started to point out all the various things wrong with this and that. And Sparrow, being from Grenada, they told him, we will send you back Grenada in a drum. And we are now ready to present the Win FM's Midday Newscast, and we will continue our little chit-chat on the other side. Peace.
Found the sound. 98.9 Win FM.
We now bring you the headline news. The headline news is brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, The Grange, National Bank, and Carib Brewery.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Basseterre in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodations to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020. Fax 466-8221 or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
Now loans, cash at the speed of life, so fast you won't believe it. Now loans, cash at the speed of life, right now, right now. If you need cash in a flash with now, no need to fuss, leave it to us. When you need cash in a flash, no need to fuss, leave it to us. Hear me now. Now loans, cash at the speed of life, so fast you won't believe it. Now loans, cash at the speed of life, right now, right now. Approved in a day, yeah, yeah. Some money on the way, yeah, yeah. Approved in a day, oh, yeah, you know.
life throws surprises your way, Now's here to help. Whether it's for an urgent bill payment, home improvements, or unexpected health expenses, or even that last-minute holiday trip, with Now, you get cash in a flash, approved in just 24 hours.
Approved in a day, yeah, yeah. Some money on the way, yeah, yeah. Approved in a day, oh, yeah, you know it's coming. Now, loans, cash at the speed of life, so fast you won't believe it. Now, loans, cash at the speed of life, right now, right now.
A loan product powered by National Bank.
When it comes to the important things in life, your health, your education, your choice of a life partner, and of course your insurance provider, only the best will do. Caribbean Alliance Insurance is the only insurance company in the Eastern Caribbean with an A excellent rating. We have a robust 3-tier reinsurance strategy that protects our policyholders from multiple catastrophes, even if they occur in quick succession. We spread our risks over 18 territories, ensuring minimal impact to individual territories when a disaster strikes. We provide an excellent claims experience. Claim settlement is usually between 24 to 48 hours. Our A excellent rating means that you are more secure with us. Contact us for motor, property, marine, public liability, employer's liability, and other policies. Delisle Walwyn, people you can trust. Local agent for Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Tomorrow secured.
With the Win FM headline news, I am Yulana Weeks. Locally, EC banknotes are to be redesigned with new imagery. St. Kitts and Nevis public is invited to assist in shaping the framework for the Sustainable Road Safety Project. Man killed in Sandy Point shooting. The details and more straight ahead. The St. Kitts headquartered Eastern Caribbean Central Bank ECCB announced that the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union ECCU has decided to redesign the Eastern Caribbean banknotes with new imagery. Like the ECCB's 40th anniversary EC$2 commemorative banknote, the $100, $50, $20, $10, and $5 banknotes will bear the images of notable persons from the Eastern Caribbean. The disclosure was made following the 109th meeting of the Monetary Council of the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank held virtually on October 18, 2024. Agenda Item 6 of the communique, Change of Queen's Image on Eastern Caribbean Currency, declares, quote, Council noted that the redesigned EC $100 banknote could enter circulation by late 2027, with the $5, $10, $20, and $50 banknotes being released at later dates as current stocks are depleted. Each denomination will feature dual portraits of 2 notable ECCU nationals. 10 prominent regional figures in all will be featured on the redesigned banknotes, unquote. It was at the 105th Monetary Council meeting on July 21, 2023 in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, where council ministers decided to remove the then monarch's decades-long image from the EC banknotes alongside input from the public. Currently, the commemorative EC$2 banknote features the Master Blaster cricket legend and Antigua and Barbuda's national hero, Sir Vivian Richards. A 35-year-old male was fatally shot on Thursday night, October 24, in Sandy Point, St. Kitts, between 6:30 and 7 o'clock. Akeem Williams of Farms Meadows, Sandy Point, was found dead on the roadside with what appeared to be gunshot wounds. He was the 28th slain victim in St. Kitts and Nevis in 2024. Williams was shot a few steps away from a grocery store where residents of Sandy Point frequently make purchases. The crime scene unit photographed the scene and collected exhibits to aid in the investigation. The community's assistance in the investigation is welcomed. Individuals are encouraged to make reports anonymously at 707 or by calling any police station. The general public of St. Kitts and Nevis has an opportunity to make recommendations and share concerns to drive forward the road safety agenda for St. Kitts and Nevis. The launch of the Sustainable Road Safety Project for St. Kitts and Nevis supports the Federation's aim to ensure proper use of the roads, comprehensive data collection, and reduce road fatality. The project will be carried out in 2 phases. Phase 1, St. Kitts Road Safety Advancements, then Phase 2, Nevis Road Safety Advancements. Attorney General Senator Garth Wilkin is the chair of the Interministerial Project Steering Committee. He noted, quote, with the exponential increase in vehicles on our roads, reckless driving incidents and traffic accidents, some fatal, the government has recognized that there is a need to create a comprehensive policy plan for boosting road safety. The project's mission is to enhance road safety through data analysis, public consultation, and sustainable measures, targeting zero traffic fatalities by 2030. Our vision is a nation where road safety is paramount, traffic laws are respected, and infrastructure supports safe travel for all, unquote. Wilkins shared that 4 sustainable development goals would be targeted by the project, with a strong emphasis on artificial intelligence. The Attorney General confirmed that the Interministerial Project Steering Committee held its inaugural meeting on October 23, where members agreed upon the development of a comprehensive policy guide for the project. The guide, according to Wilkin, will include comprehensive traffic data, resolve immediate road safety concerns, and schedule widespread consultations with the public. The Interministerial Project Steering Committee also has representation from the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force and the Licensing Authority, the Ministry of Public Infrastructure, Public Works, and the Traffic Safety and Public Driver Board. Persons in the general public can help shape the project's policy by sharing their concerns and suggestions to roadsafety@gov.kn.
Regionally,
dressed in his uniform, Assistant Police Commissioner Calvin Brutus marched up the stairs of the Georgetown Magistrates Court to face 240 charges related to various financial crimes. After more than 2 hours before the acting Chief Magistrate Faith McGusty, only 30 of the charges had been read to him, and he was granted a total of $6.2 million bail on those charges, with the magistrate indicating that the other charges will have to be read to him at a later date. As part of the bail agreement, the Assistant Police Commissioner will have to lodge his passport and report to SOCU once every month throughout the case. The prosecutors had objected to bail, but the magistrate proceeded to grant bail on the charges read out. The charges read to Mr. Brutus range from fraud and larceny to money laundering and misconduct in public office. All of the charges stem from a 3-month-long investigation conducted by the police force's Special Organized Crime Unit. The Assistant Commissioner was not required to enter a plea to the charges and offered no comments during his way in and out of the courtroom. Also appearing in court known to face conspiracy charges were the Assistant Commissioner's wife, Adonica Alda, his former driver Kevin George, and Garden of Eden businessman Ashraf Zafarali. They were each granted bail in the sum of $1 million for the charges that were read against them. They are facing charges in relation to the payment for the supply of goods to the Guyana Police Force's Consumer Goods Complex and the alleged non-supply of the goods. The attorneys for the businessman Glenn Hanneman and Everton Singh Lamy told the court that the businessman is still open to settling the matters against him and has been cooperative with SOCU. The attorneys also explained that he is currently finding it difficult to provide for his family, since his bank accounts were also frozen by the High Court as part of the investigations. The pregnant wife of the Assistant Commissioner is facing the conspiracy and money laundering charges. She remained silent throughout her appearance at the courthouse. Her bank accounts and the bank accounts of her businesses were also frozen by the High Court. Those accounts contained more than $300 million, according to the SOCU investigations. SOCU has said in court documents that the wife's companies were used to supply goods for the police force. But in many instances, it is alleged that the goods that were procured were never delivered, even after full payments were made, and it was documented as if the goods had been delivered. In the case of the former driver of the Assistant Commissioner, Kevin George, who is also a policeman, it is alleged that he was involved in the movement of money through accounts bearing his name. He is facing multiple money laundering charges, in addition to larceny charges and misconduct by a public official charges. He's being represented by attorneys Hubert Alicock, Earl Daniels, Hugh C. Anderson, Renea Marcus, and Cassidy Nurse, along with Dominic Bess. They are also the attorneys on record for Mr. Brutus and his wife. The charges were filed against the four based on the investigations carried out by the Special Organized Crime Unit. The investigation initially focused on entries into the credit union accounts of the Assistant Police Commissioner. However, after SOCO received additional information from the Financial Intelligence Unit, it expanded its investigations and uncovered the multiple accounts linked to the Assistant Police Commissioner, his wife, their toddler son, and 3 companies registered to them. Those companies were registered over the past 2 years, and the accounts were found with $500 million, and the SOCO probe also uncovered large withdrawals in recent months and the purchase of properties. 8 of the 9 accounts were frozen by the court. Mr. Brutus has maintained his innocence.
It seems like the calm after the storm has finally arrived for teachers and government officials following the battle over delayed payments and the reappointment of both temporary and permanent teachers. According to Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education, Aaron Francois, as of October 24th, all affected teachers have been paid their outstanding salaries and reappointed.
I am pleased to report that of the 392 teachers which we indicated that were up for reappointment and that we had some delay in salary payments, we can report as of today that all these teachers have been reappointed and they have been paid their outstanding salaries. And so the ministry wishes to take the opportunity to thank all our collaborating public service partners who would have worked with us to accomplish this.
Francois stated that this issue has taught the public service a lesson, prompting them to find a permanent solution to a long-standing problem.
And so the ministry wishes to take the opportunity in salaries to thank all our collaborating community public service partners who would have worked with us to accomplish.
The Permanent Secretary thanked both the teachers and the union for their patience, acknowledging their key role in the educational journey of the nation's children.
We look forward to our continuing relationships, both with the union and our teachers, because, of course, we depend on our teachers to deliver education to our children. And for us, first and foremost, is the issue of continuing to improve the educational outcomes for our students. And so we are prepared to work both with our teachers and the union in terms of ensuring that the environment is suitable so that our students can be properly attended to.
In early October, teachers, with the support of their bargaining agent, the Grenada Union of Teachers, staged a mild protest that later escalated. This action stemmed from frustration over the government's failure to ensure timely payments to permanent and temporary teachers. As far back as May, it was reported that over 300 teachers had not been paid or reappointed, causing financial distress and prompting calls for action. GBN reached out to the president of the Grenada Union of Teachers, Jude Bartholomew, to confirm Aaron Francois' announcement, but calls went unanswered. GBN News, Rena P. Thomas.
Internationally, this summit was pitched as a meeting of an alternative world order. It's also been an opportunity for Vladimir Putin to show he's not isolated despite Western sanctions over the conflict in Ukraine. In a rare appearance in front of the foreign press, he was asked about former US President Donald Trump's promise to end the fighting.
What Mr. Trump was recently talking about, and what I've heard, he was talking about his desire to do everything possible to end the conflict in Ukraine. I think he means it. Of course, we welcome the statements of this kind, whoever makes them.
President Putin is speaking with journalists at a Q&A session summing up the key outcomes of the 2024 BRICS summit. His positions on the conflicts in Ukraine and the Middle East are of the greatest interest to the media. The Russian leader also warned that the Middle East was on the brink of a full-scale war. Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas was in attendance and called for an end to Israel's genocide that's more than 40,000 Palestinian lives.
There is an urgent need for the putting into effect the Security Council resolution for immediate ceasefire and allow the runs of the humanitarian aid as well as full Israeli withdrawal from the Gaza Strip.
The Turkish president called for BRICS countries to do more to stop the violence.
Supporting Israel with guns and ammunition without any conditions only increases the crisis and instability. It must be stopped. Otherwise, it encourages Israel to become much more destructive.
Although the optics of the summit may have been a success for Vladimir Putin, getting meaningful support from the BRICS countries as Russia drifts from the West will be a harder task. Yulia Shapovalova, Al Jazeera, Kazan, Russia.
King Charles has urged a summit of Commonwealth leaders to commit to learning the lessons of the past, but he didn't directly address the issue of reparations for slavery. The King said it was time to find creative ways to right inequalities that endure within the Commonwealth of 56 nations, most of them linked to the former British Empire. Some leaders have said that they want the gathering in Samoa to debate the issue of reparations for Britain's historical role in the Atlantic slave trade.
Our cohesion requires that we acknowledge where we have come from. I understand from listening to people across the Commonwealth how the most painful aspects of our past continue to resonate. It is vital, therefore, that we understand our history to guide us to make the right choices in the future. Where inequalities exist, for example, in access to opportunity, to education, to skills training, to employment, to health, and to a planet in whose climate our human race can both survive and thrive, we must find the right ways and the right language to address them.
Well, the British Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer has already ruled out an apology for the country's role in the slave trade, and the Chancellor Rachel Reeves says that Britain will not pay reparations. Sir Keir's been speaking to our political editor Chris Mason, who's travelled with the Prime Minister to the summit in Samoa.
Leadership involves many things: decision-making, accountability and ceremony. This the Samoan welcome for Prime Ministers and Presidents. Some Commonwealth members want the UK and others to compensate them for the impact of slavery. Here is a debate the King referred to here in the broadest terms.
None of us can change the past, but we can commit with all our hearts to learning its lessons and to finding creative ways to right inequalities that endure.
It wasn't an endorsement of so-called reparations, compensation, but a nod to the anger the issue provokes for some. The Prime Minister has ruled out reparations.
I think we should be clear from the outset that the slave trade, slave practice was abhorrent. And it's very important that we start from that place. And of course, that matters hugely to many of the countries that are represented here. My posture, if you like, my focus is on the forward look, not the sort of backward look.
I want to understand the nature of your objection. Is it a financial one, or is it a moral, philosophical one? Can our generation be held responsible for the actions of our forebears?
Well, I think our generation can say the slave trade and practice was abhorrent, and we should. You know, we talk about our history. We can't change our history, but we should certainly talk about our history and be
say
clear
that, but
about
not
that.
apologise, not pay any money.
Well, look, you know, we recognise that, and of course, apologies have already been made in relation to the slave trade, and that's not surprising. It's what you would expect. But if you then go on to the question, you know, we're 55 countries here represented. and say in the conversations I've already had, what are the things that have come up most? I can tell you their resilience, they're a real concern, particularly with some of the smaller countries, about the impact of climate on them and how we can help with international institutions, financial institutions, to unlock money that might help them.
You find yourself in the last couple of days embroiled in a row with Donald Trump over a loosely worded social media post by a Labour staffer and something of a transatlantic spat breaking out over alleged electoral interference by the Labour Party. Does it worry you that, or is it just classic election campaigning, electioneering going on in America?
This needs to be seen for what it is. These are Labour Party members and staff who are on a voluntary basis in their own time going to campaign in the election. It's happened every election. Every political party does it.
If Donald Trump can kick you around like this as a candidate, what might it be like if he wins the presidency?
I have met Donald Trump. We had dinner together in New York just a few weeks ago. The reason we did that was, I think, a shared endeavour. We both wanted to make sure we had a good working relationship. The relationship between our two countries is a special relationship. We both recognise that.
And the Prime Minister is still building international relationships 4 months into the role. This one of many meetings here, seeing his Australian opposite number.
That was the WIN-FM Headline News. The Headline News is brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, The Grange, National Bank, and Carib Brewery.
When it comes to the important things in life, your health, your education, your choice of a life partner, and of course your insurance provider, only the best will do. Caribbean Alliance Insurance is the only insurance company in the Eastern Caribbean with an A excellent rating. We have a robust 3-tier reinsurance strategy that protects our policyholders from multiple catastrophes, even if they occur in quick succession. We spread our risks over 18 territories, ensuring minimal impact to individual territories when a disaster strikes. We provide an excellent claims experience. Claim settlement is usually between 24 to 48 hours. Our A excellent rating means that you are more secure with us. Contact us for motor, property, marine, public liability, employer's liability, and other policies. Dalil Walwyn, people you can trust. Local agent for Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Tomorrow secured.
Now loans, cash at the speed of light, so fast you won't believe it. Now loans, cash at the speed of light, right now, right now. If you need cash in a flash with now, no need to fuss, leave it to us. When you need cash in a flash, no need to fuss, leave it to us. Hear me now. Now loans, cash at the speed of light, so fast you won't believe it. Now loans, cash at the speed of light, right now, right now. Approved in a day, yeah, yeah. Some money on the way, yeah, yeah. Approved in a day, oh, yeah, you know it's coming.
When life throws surprises your way, now's here to help. Whether it's for an urgent bill payment, home improvements, or unexpected health expenses, or even that last-minute holiday trip. With Now, you get cash in a flash, approved in just 24 hours.
Approved in a day, yeah, yeah. Some money on the way, yeah, yeah. Approved in a day, oh, yeah, you know it's coming. Now loans, cash at the speed of light, so fast you won't believe it. Now loans, cash at the speed of light, right now, right now.
A loan product powered by National Bank.
With over a century of perfection behind the Mackeson name, a smooth blend with perfect balance and richness, it's no wonder Mackeson Triple Stout has a legacy of perfection. Enjoy the world over. Introducing our new look with the same great taste. Mackeson. All hail the king.
Please drink responsibly.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organisation on St Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Basseterre in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodations to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020. Fax 466-8221 or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Here are your Horsford's Value Mart IGA specials, running October 17th through the 30th. Now, our Value Club Blue Tag specials. Essential Everyday Vinegar, just $13.99. Peter Pan Peanut Butter, $12.99. Minute Maid Punches are just $8.99 each. Banquet Chicken, Tenders and Nuggets, $24.99. Essential Everyday Cooking Oil Sprays, $9.99. Essential Everyday Croutons, just $6.99. And now, our very low weekly value deals. Essential Everyday Ketchup, $4.99. Essential Everyday Mayonnaise is just $19.99. Essential Everyday Applesauce Bowls, $11.99. General Mills Family Size Cereals, $16.99. IGA or Essential Everyday Iodized or Plain Salt, $4.79. Soft Soap Liquid Hand Soap, $6.79. Shop Smart, Shop Value Mart. Sea listo y haga sus compras aquí en Value Mart.
Double the cash back. Double the groceries. Double the savings. Only at Hortsford's Furniture and Appliances and Ashley Furniture Home Store. Happening now, when you make a higher purchase, you'll get double cash back coupons for double the free groceries. Are you serious? Shop for the furniture and appliances you need, and we'll help you fill your fridge and kitchen too.
Nah, me.
But that's not all. You'll also have a chance to win free groceries for a year or a 4-piece living room set that will transform your space into a cozy haven.
Say what?
Don't miss out on double the rewards and double the savings. Visit Hortsford's Furniture and Appliances or Ashley Furniture Home Store today and start your journey to a better home and a fuller kitchen. Terms and conditions apply. Visit any Hortsford's location for details. Double the deals, double the delight, double the cash back, double the groceries, double the savings. Only at Hortsford's Furniture and Appliances and Ashley Furniture Home Stores, happening now.
All right, gentlemen, can you please declare yourselves and your purpose for being here?
Mike Ryan, Detective Sergeant of the Night Regional Police, badge number 9234.
And Lupe Damiano, Detective Night Regional Police, badge 9664.
Thank you.
Maybe sit or do you want to sit?
Oh, please, yeah, go ahead. Let me move my mail out of the way.
So, Joanna, basically...
I'm not going to film your faces. I just wanted to get that statement.
Yeah.
But, you know, okay.
No, fair is fair. So you said free speech, all of that. You're very much aware of why we're here in the sense that you've been putting some things on your personal social media.
According to, from whom is this complaint originating and what's the allegation?
It's with the Law Association of Ontario.
Law Association of Ontario? Law Society?
Society, sorry. Yeah.
They're making an allegation I've done something criminal?
No. Well, it is a criminal investigation.
That I've done something criminal?
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Can I just give a little blurb, and then I'll answer any questions, and you can say anything. So, Law Association of Ontario. I guess there's a series of 10 lawyers who are of the Jewish faith, who are of the opinion. Yeah, I know. Just hear me.
My partner is Jew, by the way.
Okay. So the investigators.
I bet I can guess exactly who these people are.
Yeah, and I'm not here to speak to any of that, but
I have not threatened anyone.
Okay. So basically, you're walking a line, and some people can I have just 2 minutes, and then.
No, I can tell you right now that this to me is a total escalation of fascism. Okay. This is, I have never threatened anyone. Criticism of Israel, criticism of extreme political Zionism does not amount to anti-Semitism.
I hear you, and I'm
my
a big
spouse
big
is
proponent
an
of
anti-Zionist Jewish person. Yeah. Okay? So I know what my civil liberties are. And the fact that you are here is a nightmare to me.
Okay.
This is like a dystopic novel. This is very Orwellian. And you should be ashamed.
Okay.
What is it? I've said exactly that's criminal.
Yeah.
Tell me.
I don't have the whole file and everything that's criminal. I just know that there's a series of unwanted messages to various lawyers.
Who? No one has said stop messaging me.
Well, that's exactly why we're here. We're here to say stop messaging people on LinkedIn and their personal X accounts.
They can tell me if they don't want me to comment on their messages. But do you want to see the death threats I've received? Do you want to? I'm going to post all of this, by the way. Yeah. If they don't want me to, if they want to post things that are anti-Arab, anti-Palestinian, Islamophobic, inciting of whipping up race wars within Canada, which is what I am trying to prevent, by the way. You saw what happened in the UK.
So sorry.
You saw what happened in the UK. Yeah. A bunch of white nationalists went after refugees and refugee lawyers. Okay? I'm not going after any person in particular, but what I am doing is condemning people who are using those platforms to whip up hate. If they don't want to hear it, they can say, please stop messaging me. They can block me. The fact that they're calling you is outrageous. And the fact that you are wasting taxpayers' money to bother me about and impinge upon my civil liberties to threaten me in this way is outrageous. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Just for clarity, we're not conducting this investigation. We're here. The Ottawa Police Services. So they reached out to us and said, "Can you go talk to Joanne and just let her know that the messages are unwanted?"
They can tell me that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be suppressed into silence because some bigots in Ottawa who hate Muslims and hate Arab people can't handle when I push back against that.
Yeah.
And the fact that you are here, this kind of bullying is outrageous.
Well, I don't know if it's quite bullying.
This is bullying and intimidation. I'm outraged. Yeah. I am so outraged. This is neo-fascism. And in its worst form, it starts this way. It starts with you coming to my home because some person can make some, anonymous complaint because I comment on saying, I bet you, who celebrate the terroristic attacks against Lebanese people and say that this is the coming of the apocalypse and how wonderful this is. And I have been calling them out and saying that is hate speech and it is inciting violence against migrants, is inciting violence against racialized people. And they are weaponizing your office. I am so horrified.
To be fair on a couple of points.
What have I done?
I'm just going to...
I haven't been blocked. I've had no complaints on LinkedIn.
You're very upset, and you
I'm a refugee lawyer.
Yeah, I know this.
I'm beyond infuriated.
You invited us. You invited us into your home, and we are happy to leave.
Leave, and if you give me any kind of threat or condemnation, shame on you.
Zero threat.
I swear to God, shame on you.
Here on behalf.
Shame on you. My chosen mother is Palestinian. She's lost people.
Joanne?
My spouse is a Jew.
The world is a very complicated place right
now.
Yes,
and you being deployed.
We are impartial to
this is harassment.
I'm sorry to have upset you. Not our intention. Okay?
You need to grow the fuck up and learn about civil liberties.
Okay.
Honest to God. Because if I'd done anything wrong, they could have reported me to LinkedIn. They could have blocked me. Instead, they deploy you to bully me.
Certainly not bullying.
Shit, you are! The fact of you coming here, you are bullying me. You are impinging upon, this is the fact of you being apparatus of the state, agents of the state, detectives.
So we're happy
This is harassment.
So we're happy to leave, and we're going to do that.
Leave.
Okay.
Shame on you.
So no more unwanted messages, please. Or you
No, I will not have my speech suppressed. If they don't want to hear from me, they can say, stop messaging me, or they can block me. But deploying you should...
Okay.
I am shaking. I am so angry. I am shaking.
Never our intention, but as long as...
Shame on you. Get the fuck out of my house.
We will leave. Have a good day, Joanne.
I can't wish the same for you. Shame on you.
Okay, first off, we'd like to apologize to the listeners for that bit of expletive that was played. We didn't anticipate it, but what we've played is an example of what I would call infringement of civil liberties, freedom of speech, which comes down to censorship. It relates to a lady who's a lawyer for refugees, as she claimed, and she was posting publications about her opinion on the way the Jews, Israelis, has been prosecuting that war against the Arabs. Way back in the 70s, there was a certain sentiment that was popular that you couldn't speak out against any atrocities that the Jews / Israelis were perpetrated against the Arabs. If you dared to express an opinion, you were branded or labeled anti-Semite. And they have very, very powerful lobbies in the halls of power. And so here's this lady exercising her rights to her opinion on behalf of an oppressed people. She's been branded anti-Semite, and government agents would have gone to her to tell her that the publication that she's printing, she needs to stop. Freedom of speech. Now, a few nights ago, her husband is a Jew. A few nights ago, here in St. Kitts, Big Lice expressed similar sentiments directed at our current AG about what in his mind he perceived as attempts at censorship. And he was saying, the AG, I understand, I respect your rights to defend your colleague or anyone in any particular context, but to suggest certain methods that can be seen as intimidating persons, infringing on the freedom of speech, the right to speak their minds, etc., etc., because you don't think it fits into your mold, that's wrong. It's the very same thing happening here. Now, this thing took place in Canada, right? One of the first callers of the day, when we were talking about we started with the death in Sandy Point and how people today, how our behavior has changed compared to what was the norm back in the day. It shows you that sometimes we take what we have and we adopt modalities from out there because we signed on to conventions with entities and policies that does not necessarily work for St. Kitts. And so this thing, we may say, well, it's not here. It happened in Canada. We have to be careful in what we just pay token attention to. And there's this global issue as it relates to Israel. The rights of the Palestinian people. The way you actually indiscriminately bombing people in residential areas, hospitals, etc., and you do not dare make an opinion about it. Let's go to the phone line and see what we have. Good day, caller, you're live on Voices. Good day, caller, you're live on Voices.
Hi, the King. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I've been waiting to hear from you, so welcome to the program. Let's see what you have.
My morning chores was a little bit hectic, so I'm kind of more settled.
I know you're a busy man, so still want to hear from you.
Yes. And to put it in context, be it if you're going to speak on behalf of a nation, a group of persons, or if you're going to speak on behalf of something that pertains to nation building and certain things that you know would take away or add to the ambience, the aesthetics, the product of what we're trying to achieve. Voices will be heard. As
Definitely.
The program is as voices. And as few as the voices might be, voices would be heard. I can retract, I can recount the many times I spoke on behalf of matters of personal interest and otherwise, and I have gotten positive results, and that has motivated me to speak. Albeit speak respectfully, speak diplomatically, if you want to say that, speak not to really get too personal to individuals or individual or groups of persons within a respectful manner. But like Big Life, as I listened to his program the other night, while browsing, I just came across, this, state of affairs. And I was curious, what the state of affairs? I don't really listen to and never really listened to that program. And voices would be heard. Voices would always be heard, the King. I remembered when my bread and butter was, was at stake. And I spoke and I spoke and I spoke. Some political parties and some NGOs, and they have mottos. They have mission statements. I heard a mission statement from a political party. The party leader was touting like, talk long, talk loud, talk hard, talk last.
I recall that.
Anything, yes, if it's anything I had extrapolated from that, I will talk loud, I will talk long, I will talk hard, I will talk first, I will talk last, I will do what I have to say what I have to say to get my point across. It was you, the King, and it was a Friday, a couple of years ago, when you said to the listener public, Africa is going to allow this one, referring to me. And when you read out what the tourism authority decided to keep one meeting because they was bordering on discrimination. You see, like how you're talking about the Palestinian people, they're bordering, their nation is bordering on genocide, as we could call it that, trying to starve out the people. People are going to die. People are dying. And about that genocide, they use biblical reference to say, well, they are the chosen ones. They are the Jews. When they are in this modern a modern scheme of things, a political entity, a state, a Zionist state, they would have, and they no doubt they have people whose ancestry goes back. But people who would have taken to the street to demonstrate what the Zionist state is doing, because they themselves going to get hurt. People of Jewish ancestry, quote-unquote Jewish ancestry, out in the streets demonstrating what the Zionist regime is doing, because they have lived alongside with their neighbors from generation to generation. And on the premise of the Zionist state doing that, when the Zionist state or ancestry of the Zionist state might have been in another part of the world and has gone through that, for some people in our societies who would look at them to say, well, they are the Israel, they have the legitimacy to kill other people. Because when I open my Bible and I read my Bible, I see how the many wars that Israel has fought. So to bring it into this modern day, and they are supporting a Zionist regime that is killing off other people, other human beings.
It's genocide.
Right?
Pure and simple.
And they don't see it that look like Rodney King.
But the thing is,
we all get along?
Anyone who express opinion against their policies, they're labeled anti-Semitism, this and that and that.
Well, you see that label there, that label have a lot of weight to it, because I tell you what, from the accumulation of wealth, they have accumulated wealth. So they would have able to say, well, okay, we our percentage in Hollywood entertainment, okay?
They control the mass media.
Of wealth in Hollywood entertainment, it has worked. So therefore, if we find you to be anti-Semitism, you cannot produce a movie.
They blacklist you.
The music industry.
They cut off your funding.
If you find
they cut off your funding. They blacklist you.
Okay, so that has a lot of weight. If you want to get there, you have to just, as I say, the piper who plays the person
who pays the piper called the
right?
tune.
But I want to get back home the thing. I send out two photos of two wheelchair ramp as models in the town that I saw. I took them this morning and I said, what it is that tourism authority with their staff walking in town, with we going into a modern era, we're providing for, like, good afternoon, Mrs. Henry. We are providing for persons in our community that doesn't have the mobility anymore, would need a cane, would need a wheelchair. For us locals who will want to go on Timothy's Hill and take a photo up with all the family members, not discriminating those who are wheelchair bound. For tourism to make a matchbox platform at Timothy's Hill and not including a wheelchair ramp. They are so proactive with doing that matchbox, but still hasn't gotten it right, that they forgot a wheelchair ramp as a part of the blueprint because they are so reactive. I sure this would have come up in a refreshers course I attended, it probably didn't come up in. But other refreshers course and sessions that they had, some one of you guys might have raised it. I heard Talbot Bass raise about, all that asphalt that they're taking off from the new road.
Yes, it could use to its surface.
Because it's like jagged stones coming out of the walkway up there, and people have stumbled and fell People literally broke their legs up there, all their legs. And you know, you had was to do one thing at a time. Take our advice. Get advice of us who patronize those areas almost on a daily basis.
With the drivers.
Right, the king. I would have preferred a boardwalk with God bless his soul, where Scooby would have been up in the corner there, restroom facility, and the boardwalk with strong retaining wall, strong guardrails, come all the way down to even beyond where we really would drive up, exit and enter, enter and exit, beyond there, and have a nice boardwalk there with a telescope.
The purpose would have been better served that way.
$1 fee, a $2 fee to use the telescope, create revenue. $1 fee for the bathroom, create revenue, create employment.
What you just described, the viewing purpose would have been better served that way. I know the challenges with the restroom, based on what I know, that there was an attempt to put that in place, but we were told that we do not own the land. So you have to go first to the owners of that location to be able to establish the sanitation facilities. So it's surprising to me that they were able to go and erect that platform. Now, I understand the request or the outcry for lack of the wheelchair ramp. You know? Because if you're not that mobile, you cannot get up the steps. But I still want to get your feedback because one of the other persons who were very critical of it, having seen the finished product, his reaction was, wow. So, wow, he was like, I'm impressed.
Yes, all right. No, I saw a picture, and yes, just like any other photo ops, a photo ops is a photo ops is a photo ops. But I am saying they have created a waiting list, because with the boardwalk, 14, 15, 20, 30 persons probably would have accessed it within groups, right? The boardwalk. As opposed to that now, where it's only one group at a time, 8, 10 persons at a time, and then you're creating a long waiting line for another group to come up there. When you had the boardwalk now, you had the long stretch similar to what it is as is, but only enhanced with the boardwalk to give it a more appreciative aesthetic towards like standing in midair, where you're seeing the Atlantic side and the Caribbean side and the southeastern side also. Okay. And Nevis in the background. That's all you would have been seeing in the background. As opposed to the matchbox that they have, without provisions for a family member, which is discriminated
challenge,
who might be wheelchair bound,
mobility challenge,
because of their challenging, being excluded from a photo op.
I see what you mean.
You know, as simple as that. I have a daughter, she's brilliant. She was brilliant in school. She's brilliant in the office, right? But I find it out. The brilliancy of the office, it doesn't redound. It doesn't go beyond the office. You step out the office door, and all that brilliancy is nullified. It's like you're in a coma. You cannot think outside of the box of your office. Your environment has been restricted to the office space. So here it is, you're in the blue sky and you're looking up at the sky and you ain't seeing no pictures. As a picture is worth 1,000 words. You ain't seeing a formation in the cloud with the clouds in the sky. So your future is restricted to the box of your office space. Come on, St. Kitts and Nevis. We're little, but we're taller in our brains, in our mind, in our ability to put things
we will see how
of our destination, what St. Kitts deserves.
Africa.
Right there at Timothy Hill.
Africa. Tomorrow we'll have a chance to see how workable is that the changes that they brought up there. Okay. We have a ship tomorrow that will bring quite a couple of thousand passengers. We'll have a chance to see how that works tomorrow, and then we'll take a feedback from that.
It's already there, you know.
Huh?
It is already there.
I know, but I said, I know it's there already. What I'm saying, tomorrow.
It's going to fulfill its minuscule objective. Minuscule objective. It will fulfill that, but in a small circumference.
What I'm saying, because we'll have a ship in port tomorrow, we'll be able to go and see how the whole thing plays out. We can then be in a better position to critique it. Right?
I saw it from its inception, and my critique would be with the same.
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
Whether the paint is on it or not.
Okay. We'll have to break for our station ID at the moment. I'm quite responsible, but thank you for your contribution. And don't be shy in calling back. We take a downtown Jamster to give Caesar his due.
Found the Sound 98.9.
Looking for the perfect bed? It's the time for Beds Rest Easy. Dream big, save bigger sales event at Hostage Furniture and Appliances and Ashley Furniture Home Store. Get 25% off cash prices on all beds, bedroom sets, whether you're upgrading or starting fresh. We've got your dream bedroom set waiting just for you. Plus, enjoy double cash back on all higher purchase items. Don't miss your chance to rest easy, dream big, and save bigger. Hurry to Hosford's today. The time for Beds Rest Easy, Dream Big, Save Bigger sales event is on now, but only for a limited time. Hosford's, where quality meets comfort.
To our viewers and listeners, welcome back to the second segment of today's presentation of Voices. We have a caller? Okay, let's go to the phone lines. Good day, caller. You're live on Voices.
Good day, Socrates.
Mr. Mac.
Yeah.
How about now? You've been MIA.
I've been good.
You've been good?
Hope you have been too.
Well, you can't follow all the rules. You break one from time to time, but of course you keep your chin above the water and you move forward. But it's good to hear from you every time.
As long as you break the right rules, is okay.
Okay.
I listened to you on this Israeli Arab thing, Palestinian thing.
Mm-hmm.
And, I'd like to be a fly on the wall in these news editorial rooms.
Yep.
When they decide what to bring on and how to bring it on.
Yes.
Because, yes, it's been said for some time now that the media is essentially owned by Jewish interests or people
that is correct
towards the Jewish cause. But you can't tell me that there's no pushback at all from journalists when they see, for instance, like what happened this morning or yesterday, that 3 journalists in Lebanon were killed by the Israelis in an attack. Apparently, these journalists would tell the UN when they're going out, because remember the UN has a peacekeeping force there, when they're going out on assignment and when they're returning. And they, in turn, the UN in turn, will tell the combatants in the conflict, Israel and I guess Hezbollah, what these journalists are going to be, where they're going to be, and so on.
There's been over 100 journalists killed. Over 100.
In other words, this was no mistake. I'm hard-pressed to think that this was a mistake.
Okay.
They willfully do it because they don't want the story out, just like how they would not allow journalists to go into Gaza. And That is what I'm saying. Isn't there no camaraderie between journalists anymore? There's no solidarity where, hey, it's three of our own who are
the
murdered.
Presenters are given scripts and a teleprompter to read from. They can't deviate from what they're told to read. The job's on the line.
Okay, maybe the readers, but I'm talking about the editorial staff and so on.
Mm-hmm.
Why BBC used to have such a reputation of being this fair, balanced, and unbiased source for news. Not anymore. Not anymore. I mean, you just listen to the broadcast and you realize that essentially they come down
on the side of...
And generally the Western view is, whatever the Western view is, on the Israeli-Gaza conflict.
What has happened to Al Jazeera?
What is also surprising is they knew what happened when Hitler did what he did to the Jews. And you would think that they would not allow something similar. They were guilty, they felt guilty about what they let Hitler do in the persecution of the Jews. And so they created Israel, that's part of a territory down there for them. But you'd think that they'd want to make sure that that kind of persecution is not repeated. But here you have them just allowing Israel to do what it pleases.
The Jewish mantra is...
to bomb in Gaza.
The Jewish mantra...
You look at the landscapes, all you're seeing is bomb buildings. Nothing else is there to bomb. They already killed the leadership of Hamas. Huh?
They're denying food and medical supplies from getting into the area. It's genocide.
And they know this. The U.S. themselves express reservations about that. But Israel continues. And this is what I don't understand. I can't.
They've created a monster that they can't control.
There's no moral outrage.
The U.S. has created a monster that they cannot control. And with the Jews controlling the press, well, the media platforms, look what happened to Al Jazeera. They've banned them. They cannot cover any kind of news outlet in the area. They're taking them off the slate completely.
But look, Israel, if the U.S. and other Western countries stop supplying Israel with aid, this war would have been over in quick time. They would not continue it.
But they don't want to be they don't want to be accused as siding against the Jews and in favor of the Arabs.
But obviously you need some kind of balance here. The Palestinians are obviously not a threat to Israel now. Okay? Neither is Hezbollah. I mean, they've decimated those two groups. So all that's left now is civilian infrastructure. They keep saying that they're targeting Hamas control centers and Hezbollah banks and all kind of nonsense. It's civilians are targeting. And I honestly don't understand.
They're looking to expand the real estate in the area.
Huh?
They're looking to expand the real estate in the areas, denying them re-entry back in the area.
I saw a story on that there are settlers waiting to go in.
Of course.
To southern Lebanon and similar in parts of Gaza to build settlements. Expansionists, right? Even though that is against U.S.
conventions.
I mean, the UN has railed against it. And there again, I cannot for the life of me understand why the UN members do not name and shame the countries that are assisting in this, because it to me
it is really couple of months ago,
close to genocide.
a UN official came up with a very scathing assessment of how the Jews were prosecuted in the war, and he said they were actually war crimes. The Americans refused to accept it. You recall that?
But you notice it's not even an issue in the campaign. It's as if
it's muted.
No Republican, no Democrat can stand up and say Israel is now time to stop. There's nothing else to bomb. This is I honestly don't understand what really is the goal. What are they trying to do?
Escalate, expand the settlements, and get the Arabs totally out of the area. That's it. And nobody stops it because, as I said, the Americans have created a monster they can't control. So now it's attack Iran, bomb Iran. Deficit, it's and look at the comparison between that, what's happening with Putin and what's his name there?
Ukraine.
In the Ukraine, look what's happening.
Yeah.
And that's going to escalate because we're now told that troops from North Korea are now in the area.
Right. And that's the whole point. They are totally against Putin's land
expanding,
grab in the Ukraine. But for some reason, they don't see the double standard when they're supporting Israel, when Israel is intent on doing the same.
That's it,
It's amazing. And that is why, even though I want Harris to win, I am not so sure I'm not absolutely sure she's going to win.
Oh, you mean that Harris? I thought you meant Timothy Harris.
No. Timothy Harris.
Well, you said you want Harris to win, I thought, well, Timothy Harris.
He's off the scene now. I think he's done for. He and a number of other local, if you want to go top local parties.
You think he's done? You think he's done for?
Local politicians to just exit the scene now. They've done enough damage, I think.
Okay, so you think he's done for?
Country, right? But I'm talking about Kamala Harris.
Yep.
Right. I wanted to win, okay, because I think Trump is. I mean, how you could have
he's more of a clear and he's more of a clear and present danger to the world.
As a president of the greatest country in the world, right? When you see things like that, you wonder, well, what exactly are the American voters thinking when you have an election this close? It should be nowhere close.
Well, this tells you to some extent how the Roman Empire fell. It's implosion. That's how the Roman Empire fell, by implosion. And this is what Trump is bringing. History repeats itself. Don't you think?
You think so? Well, yep. I don't know. America is really resilient, eh?
This is the Pied Piper syndrome.
Mistakes, but somehow they always bounce back.
I see this with Trump as the Pied Piper syndrome because it defies logic. It is the only thing I can say, the Pied Piper.
Yeah. It's really unfathomable what's happening here.
Correct.
Right?
So
you would say because Americans are supposed to be educated.
You said it right.
Probably not as high.
You said it right. Are supposed to be, but education and common sense are two different animals.
But you have to wonder how they become the greatest nation on earth. Well, militarily.
We know.
And economically.
We know.
If they're not in line with education and common sense and all of that. Well, how they became that then?
One example. All those who are criminals, who are active in persecuting the Jews, in prosecuting the wars against Britain and the US, with their technological advances, right? While the Jews were looking to prosecute them and hang them for war crimes, what did America do? They hired them. They had to build their submarines and their aircraft and defenses because they had the technology. So they used them in their war, in building the war chest. They didn't hang them, as the Jews were saying. They hired them. Even though they were labeled war criminals, the Americans employed them in building the submarines and the war machinery. Because at that time, Germany was more technologically advanced than America. So they hired them. So it's appropriation from all the various countries around the world to take the best and they build up the economy.
I guess, yeah. That's probably part of it. They attract the best and the brightest throughout the world. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that probably explains that. But I still say there is, I think, significant opposition to what's happening in the Middle East. But I don't know that they're outraged enough to talk to their congressman, the senator, the representatives about this, to tell them, listen, I mean, we don't like this. It's not going to be, I'm not going to vote against you because of it, okay? But we don't like this, right? And like I said, the outrage isn't there, and so I guess, it's not an issue. Foreign policy doesn't seem to be a huge issue, really, in terms of the election in the States. It's all local stuff.
It is said.
Immigration.
It is said that Harris needs to, what's the word for the Arab vote. She needs to get the Arab vote, right? But then she can openly take a stand.
Right.
She cannot because
she cannot.
The Jewish lobbies, the Jewish lobbies.
All Trump is prepared to say is that I will end the wars. Okay? You don't say how. And I suspect his way of ending the Middle East conflict is to say, Israel, come on, do what you have to do, quick, and get it over with.
That's his approach.
Well, I don't know what that means. Does it mean exterminating the Palestinians?
Of course. Of course. They were saying that this is a good time now to have a peace withdrawal because they have decimated the Hamas and this and that. It's not going to happen. Netanyahu have a different agenda. He want to totally eliminate them, expand the settlements, etc., and build continue to build his Jewish state. And the Americans and Europeans have no say in the matter because they've created and supported this monster to the point that they can't control it. So Harris now wanting to court the Arab vote. She cannot openly. So they're saying, we're not going to vote for you because she can't take a stand, apart from being married to a Jew. Is the American foreign policy when it comes to the Middle East?
Yeah. And that is unchangeable, unshakable.
I got pissed off with the last week we were on platform saying how the Jews have a right to defend themselves. That is a talking point it bothers me so much.
Defend themselves against who now? That's the whole point, That is what I'm saying. What else is there to bomb? But people living in tents and in rubble and so on. Nothing else is there to bomb. They know they're going to be killing civilians and I find it very cynical, They know they're going to be killing women and children. Mm-hmm. Who represents the future more than women and children in any country?
One of the points you made earlier is the killing of these 3 journalists. And you may be right, they were targeted. Because they can't tell the story, they get away with it. So you may be right. They were targeted.
No, it's really, this is real. When we look back 10, 20, 50 years from now at this period in our history, people like Netanyahu are going to be shamed.
The damage is done.
Israel would be shamed.
The damage is done.
When I was growing up, I was a staunch supporter of Israel, you know. I used to say, all these Arabs ganging up on Israel, you know. I used to be glad when Israel wrote them. But now it's like the other extreme, you know. It's like, you know, you've been wronged, but you think that it is okay to wrong somebody else. I don't know what kind of logic is that. You would think that they'd be more sympathetic to people whose land they took away, because that's what happened, right? When Britain was in charge of what is now, it was a protectorate, Israel. It was Palestine then. It was a British protectorate. And they essentially ceded the land. People have the deed and all kind of things. And they just take away the people's land.
Correct.
Just like that. I mean, what they expect? That people not going to fight back?
Well, it's what they did to all these islands. They came out here and they wiped off the people and took the land. So nothing new.
But yeah, I guess you know, the world isn't fair. The world isn't.
Anyway,
still full of a lot of injustice.
Let's switch gears. I've not heard from you for a while. What's going on locally?
Locally?
Yeah.
In terms of what?
Anything. Country running good? Things going well? What's going on?
I'm like you know. I am an outsider, so I can't tell you. What I can say is that the moaning and the grumbling continues. You know, a lot of the issues that we hope would have been solved by the change of government, they're still there. A lot of the ways of doing things that we criticized before, and the then opposition criticized, they've gone in and done pretty much the same thing. I think you mentioned, for instance, the AG's response. I mean, nobody used to be more vociferous about governance and rights and so on than the AG before he became AG, right? So I don't know what it is about politics that are being elected to office or being selected in office or being in high office that make you switch on a dime, turn on a dime, you know? Because when you listen to things now, the same things that they used to accuse the government before of, it's almost as if the tables are just turned, right? And so you know, you have to wonder what I would say is most dramatic is the amount of money that we got from the CBI that really should have had us like a little Singapore.
More tangibles.
And we are here still scrabbling for money to do basic things.
We should have seen more tangibles.
I don't know how that happened. You know, if anything warrants a forensic audit, is that what has been done with all this money over the years? Has it been well spent? And most likely the answer is going to be no. And what is even more worrisome is the fact that you seem to have a revolving door of people in this, whether in charge of the CBI or who is involved with the CBI. And so nothing of significance is going to change. You know?
You may be surprised, Mr. McMahon, as to how many people respect you because of the position you have taken. I'm out there. Whereas in the past, they might say, oh, he's partisan, this and that. People are respecting you. Because the figure your views are more or less impartial, and they're in line with what people are hearing on the ground.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the people come up to me and tell me the same thing. But that's the whole point. That is what I was always about, right? Why I decided to get involved in this thing was because I've been around for so many election cycles, and you see things just it's more of the same, okay? And that is why I adopted the mantra, essentially adopted the mantra. You change and keep changing until you get the change that you want. Right? You can't have people go in, when you're outside, you see everything that is wrong. When you go in, you go and do the same thing. That's ridiculous. Right? Nothing is going to change, and we suffer for it. That's the whole point. Like I said, with that kind of money floating around, ordinary people should have been better off.
Juxtapose that against this story.
It's not going to happen if the same people are involved doing the same things pretty much.
Juxtapose
right?
that.
The changes that have been made, right?
Mm-hmm.
To me, is what it seems like is only some people got caught, and so you make these changes. If the money, if for instance, didn't have the MSR thing, right? The changes that would have been made would not have come as readily as they did, because the money would have keep pouring in, and the same kind of systems that enrich particular segments of the society would continue to do that.
Okay.
And nothing would have changed.
Mac, I have a next call. If you want to stay on, you can stay on, but I need to take a next call.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, because I have a question for you. So let's take this next call and see what this person have to contribute. Call your live on Voices.
Okay. Yes, Socrates, man. I want you to keep him on, man. Keep him on.
He's on.
I'm I really happy that the second part of his commentary just now about the money coming into the CBI, right? You know, for 40 years, definitely what he said. I've been trying to champion this thing and get the people them to open up their eyes, right? You know, I'm a relatively new caller on here, but this is one of the things that I've attacked from the beginning: the corruption in the place and the amount of money they collected in the CBI program, right? If this Philip Martinez didn't blow the whistle, you know, the people in St. Kitts Nevis, they would have never started waking up, because the smartest of smartest persons in the Federation, they feel right now like they're being hoodwinked and bamboozled. You know, just listen closely sometime. The figures the Prime Minister gave out in his address, right? That amount of money totaled up to $2 billion. I think it was like 764 million. And that's only figures for 6 years. What really catch me, when I listened to Big Lights the other night, Big Lights gave a long list of persons who are selling the passports. And these are the money only going into certain people's
certain circles.
Hands. It's not trickling down.
Certain circles.
And he just mentioned, yeah, of course, St. Kitts Nevis need to be in tip-top shape by the amount of money they done raised.
But listen to this, right?
40 years.
Listen to this. Against the backdrop of all the CBI money that we've had and the tangible we've not seen, a young lady 2 days ago asked a certain person for $10 to buy breakfast because she hadn't eaten. And he was skeptical. She said, listen, the PEP money you used to get, I no longer get that. I was more or less depending on that. I no longer get that. So the person gave her some money. She went and bought breakfast and came back and showed them. I actually bought breakfast.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. But before we get off, right? There was a report that came out recently saying St. Kitts Nevis CBI is back on top. That's very misleading. Not when we only got 218 million this year to September. And when we look at the other countries in the OECS, we need to put out their stats. They raked in 782 million last year. In comparison, and on track to get more than that this year. So it's no way our leaders then could be telling us that our passport CBI program is back on top when we only got 280 million this year so far. That's a big drop off from previous years. And if they still think that the program in St. Kitts Nevis is back on top, we'll release them 2 dividends you promised for the people this year, because we deserve to be getting a dividend from the outset of the program.
That should happen, right?
Yes, man, come back in.
You think that should happen, you know? But I think back on top, being number one, there's probably a lag in that that is supposedly something that would make our passport more attractive going forward.
Okay.
But for now, I think we've taken a hit, right? But the point is, though, what I don't like is people telling struggling people that, man, you could find something to do or stop be feeling so entitled.
Suck it up.
You can't feel other people's pain. Yeah, as you described there with the person who wanted something to eat.
Yes. She says she was actually depending on the $500.
Propaganda.
Yes, Socrates. They're trying to split. They're trying to tell us suck it up. They're trying to tell us suck it up when the money is still going to their pockets.
Okay. We gentlemen are out of time. We are out of time, and I want to thank you for your contribution, especially Mr. Mack. I mean, like I'm saying, the word up there, a lot more people are respecting you for the position you've taken and look forward to hearing your perspectives. So, given the chance, let's continue the discussion. But we are out of time, and I want to thank all of viewers and listeners for participating today in another presentation of Voices. You've been logged on to WinFM 98.9. My name is Socrates, your host. Hopefully, on Monday, we shall continue this aspect of our national debate. Peace.
Here are your Horsford's Value Mart IGA specials, running October 17th through the 30th.